Okay, so this kind of crashed. It kind of froze. So I'm trying to reload it. We're still at all-time highs. Now we're at 4.8. Yesterday we were at 4, was it 4.7 or something? So we continue to climb and climb. Um, I am just gonna draw this up real quick. Okay, so couple of things. Hold up. Okay. So a couple of things. I'm over here and I'm looking at this. So the reason why I actually I don't think this is right either. The reason why I started um trading on the 10 tick brick chart was because of Apex and they don't really allow for drawdown. And so I had to kind of I had to redo my oops, wrong one. Redo my strategy based off of that. Not redo, I just had to change some things. Top Step does allow for a drawdown, allows you to sit in trades longer. So that's what I'm also over here considering is because normally I trade off one, but part of me is like, what if I switched to two, less chop from one? Also, you're gonna get worse as far as the pullbacks and things are gonna actually be worse. But I don't know. I guess my thinking was maybe you can get better entries, but again, none of it's tested. It's just in theory, you know. Um, because here, yeah, broke high, overbought conditions, sell on pullback, but this never gave a pullback. It just got one brick sell off, and then I continued buying. Um, we're open now. Um, so I don't know. That was just a thought in the very back of my head. Like, okay, what if we switched it up a bit? But I am gonna move it back because I don't want to change anything without there being a valid reason to change something. And I keep forgetting, but I have this at the very top right here. One second. Where are we? Oh, here we are. Okay. I do also have this right here, and I never use it, and I don't know why, because I literally have this chart. We're all the way down here today. So, and I never use this one. I don't know why, because what? That's a lot of lines. Go all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot that I had this this chart up here as well. Anyways, so one thing I was considering doing was instead of waiting, and I know it sounds bad, but instead of waiting for it to break a level and then look for an overbought or oversold condition. I like that I have to wait for a break because it forces me to be patient. But then my other thought was, what if we create an overbought or oversold within the range? Maybe that could speak to potential expansion. One second. Goodness. Okay. Um, what was I even saying? Yeah, so my other thought was, okay, what if is there news? Let me check. Yeah, so my thought was just, okay, what if um, looked for trades within the range, trading outside of it. Um, kind of how, like, if we're within the range and we're creating an oversold condition, we may be expanding to one side or the other. Because, again, in order for it to be overbought or oversold, there has to be, a lot of that activity happening within that range. Um, yes, this is the range, but I'm talking about after right here. So I don't know. It's just something I'm considering. But as you can see, uh, for example, I don't want to scroll all the way back because then I don't know what that is. Something I anchored and locked for some reason. Okay, so, um, well, what is this? I don't know. So, because if I go back, not even back, let's just say I look at this date right here, right here. Our price dropped all the way down. Where was that? Yeah, so we were here, price dropped all the way down, and there, pop, no, right here, this is it. Okay, so here, price dropped all the way down, but it's dropping off of this. So this is your first overbought condition pre-market right here. And then it kind of chops around. But if you were on the 10 tick, you would have sold here and got 30 tick stop. Yeah, might have got stopped out. But so this is your entry. And you would have gotten, well, like, it depends on how long you held it, but there's 60 ticks. Versus here, if you were on the 2, you would have gotten 20. I don't know, that's why I'm on the 10 tick, is because it just seems smoother. Uh, and the stops don't have to be as wide, and you can target more. Because then we came back up here, and then there was this chop that happened, which is right here. We popped up again, came down, back up, down, back up, and then we finally dropped. Then we created this over. This doesn't even show how far we actually went down to, like, there, which you don't see. But then, yeah, so this actually came down. We popped back up, and then we pop back down. You buy here for maybe 40 ticks. I don't know. I think my thing is, if I wait, oops, if I wait for a break of pre-market structure, yes, that can be valid, but it could also be valid within as well. And so that's why I'm considering, instead of entering, like, 5 contracts inside the range, entering like 1 or 2 so that I can have a wider stop with a little bit less risk, but still higher targets. I don't know. It's just a thought. Just a thought. But right now, we're still trading in the range. We're not really close to making any overbought or oversold, so that's good. Not good, but it's just, it is what it is. Again, we're at all-time highs. If I zoom out, I think pre-market, the same thing. Okay, no. So pre-market didn't make a new all-time high. Midnight, right around midnight, we made a new all-time high. Again, we've been creating all-time highs multiple days in a row, just back to back. Also, I forgot to do our range here. I'm gonna guess 2 something. Dang, what? 4? Okay, never mind. I zoomed out. So it's 439. I feel like that's our biggest one yet. It looked small. Anyways. Let's check our economic calendar. What day is it? The 21st? Yeah, there's no. The UK had their inflation rate drop at 1 a.m. Okay, so what are we? So it looks like tomorrow we have quite a bit of news at 7:30, 9. Yeah, 7:30 and 9. There's a lot of news tomorrow. But there's not a whole lot. There's nothing today. Friday. There's nothing on Friday. And it looks like there's news on Monday. Okay. See, like old me would have been trading. Well, it depends on what the MACD was doing, but old me probably would have traded that. Um, I would have sold that. I would have probably bought that. I don't have the MACD on here anymore, but if I did, I probably would have been buying and selling a lot of these. Well, look at that. 1, 2, 3 in a row. And I probably would have bought and or sold those. I mean, I'm not trading at that time, but there you go. There's your 15-minute range. A nice tight 15-minute range within our pre-market. So I'd like to see what we do because we're just kind of hanging out in the middle, we're not trying to go to any of these extremes yet. So okay, baby. am so sore from yesterday. I I haven't been to fitness class in I don't even know. It's been a long time. Like it's been 2 months because I remember it was right before Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving. I was traveling and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go to fitness class because I just wanna chill. I don't wanna go to fitness class. Well, you get ready to go. And so I just was like, I'm gonna spend the week, relaxing, getting ready. I'm not gonna go to class. Well, got back probably 3 weeks, and then I didn't go back to fitness. And then I just kept not going back. So Monday, no, yeah, Monday was my first day back, and it was brutal. It was like a full body workout. Yesterday was all upper body. It got to a point where I couldn't even lift my arms above my head anymore. Um, that's what happens when you start slacking in your fitness journey, and then all of a sudden doing little things is hard. So I'm extremely sore. I gotta say, I'm not as bad off as when I first started. Like when I first started, I couldn't do any of those workouts. Like the coach was, you know, letting me pass on a lot of things because I couldn't do anything. So I'm not any worse off. Um, but yeah, I'm not any worse off, but I still have a lot of catching up to do. Um, because yeah, I got a lot of catching up to do, let's just say. Oh goodness. Yeah, I wish there was just like a secret code, like a formula, and all you have to do is learn the formula, and then effort, and then like I wish trading was like a treasure hunt, like those movies that you'll watch when you're a kid, and they're going on these elaborate like hunts for ancient buried treasure. I wish trading was like that, where you just go on this hunt for buried treasure, and all you gotta do is is find the scroll, and it will tell you everything you need to know. It'll tell you the secrets. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy. Um, because every time I sit down, I'm like, I feel like I'm one step closer, but I'm always, 2 steps away. And no matter how many steps forward I take, the goal point keeps moving. It's like, when you're in a desert and you see a mirage, and it's like, it's always in the distance. Like, it doesn't even matter. The mirage will always just be somewhere off in distance. And, um, yeah, that's how it feels. It feels like, well, yeah, that's how it feels. It feels like you're just chasing after this mirage, and no matter how close it seems, it's always too far away. Um, I don't know. It's always just so far away. So, so yeah, I have an idea, but I don't have. It's not written down. It's not set in stone. Because the idea is like, okay, wait for the break out of the range and then trade the RSI, or wait for the RSI within the range. Like something. I don't know which one. And I could scroll back and try to look. I mean, I could. I don't have fitness tonight, so I could do that. I could do that tonight, honestly, because, yeah, I am. Well, yeah, I could do that tonight. Kind of just scroll back and just look at this chart and just see what I don't need to know what I can't know what Branko's doing, but I can look back and see how often we're forming overbought oversold within the range and how often does that lead to a break outside the range or reversal, etc., etc. We are playing very nicely off this moving average, very nicely. And we did break the 15-minute, but we are not holding significantly below it. Like we are, but we're not. We're kind of just right on the line. That one closed right inside, opened up right outside. Yeah, this is why 15-minute range is so tricky because that's where they get you. That's where they get you. 15-minute is prime for getting scammed, getting faked out. Because look, we broke and we held, and then we kind of danced on the line, closed. We opened below it, closed right inside of it, and then 2 seconds before close, we closed where? Just inside of it, and then we opened right on it. Now we're all the way back up here. So anybody who thought we were gonna push all got stopped out. So, especially when you consider, if you're selling, where are you placing your stops? Like maybe you're placing your stop here at this point, this point, this point. So, yeah, it's taking out a lot of people right now. And we're coming all the way back up. I don't know. I look at this chart and I'm like, it's a lot of red and green. Yeah, it's a lot of red and green happening. Look at that. Two perfect doji candles in there and one there. And then this bullish almost creating, this is a pretty small fair value gap or whatever. People might be trying to buy out of there. I don't know. Yes, I don't have a whole lot to say. Kind of just staring off into space right now because, again, I'm so tired, and not just like oh, tired because I didn't sleep, but tired because I'm exhausted. Goodness. I really would love to incorporate some other kinds of fitness. I like to, I don't know, do like kickboxing, wrestling, something, um, just on the side. Um, because yeah, I don't know. Oops. Yeah, I like my fitness class, but I feel like I need to incorporate alternate forms of movement. Because we do a lot. It's not easy by any means. Again, I can barely raise my arms. But it's a good thing today's a rest day. Um, but no, I just need to incorporate some other things into my schedule. That whole new year, blah blah blah. And I don't know. I feel like that was a buy trap, because we come down here, we reject this multiple times, we push up, then we have a doji, then we come down, we come back into this full fair value gap range, and we start to buy out of it with quite a bit of momentum, probably tricking a number of people into thinking that maybe we're going to buy off of this instead. So everybody gets into their buys, and then boom, it all settles back down. This is just, it's not looking great. We're not looking great at all. So I don't know. It's how do you trade that? I don't know. Maybe you just don't. Then we come all the way back up. See, this is just chop. Like when you just take a step back and look at it, especially if you're on the 5 minute, because I have my 5 minute over here when I'm looking at Top Step. And on the 5 minute, it literally just looks like an actual mess. So, all right, that's my 30 minutes. Gonna set some alerts for, I'm gonna put some RSI alerts to see when we hit the RSI and or when we cross over, so that I'm not sitting here, because I have a lot of stuff material to review, and it's not the fun kind of review. It's kind of like it's that boring kind of review that you don't want to have to do. We're gonna add an alert. I'm gonna add one down here. Yeah, this one needs to get moved. Right there. Then I'm gonna set an alert here. And set an alert here. And there you have it. So we have our alerts. If price crosses this level, or if the RSI crosses this level, we'll know. And then we can come back and see what's going on. But other than that, we're just sitting here waiting for maybe something to happen. And you don't know when that's going to be. So, um, yep. So there's no point in just sitting and waiting indefinitely for nothing. So yeah, and I think when I do trade, I'm saying this out loud so that so I don't change my mind. But if there is a trade, there probably will be, but if there is a trade, what we're going to do is we're going to, if if I get an RSI signal within the range, I'm going to buy or sell with one contract. If I get an RSI outside of the range, then I'll probably buy or sell with two contracts and not hold. So that's, yeah, that's gonna be the plan. If it's outside, we'll go in with a couple more contracts. If it's inside, we'll go in with one. But at the same time, I don't know which is better, right? Overbought, oversold outside or inside. And until I know that, I don't know which one is gonna give better results. Because all what we're looking for is not just overbought or oversold. It's about, is the market expanding, and are we getting, because if there's no expansion, then what you have is something like this, where we're just kind of moving, chopping, moving nowhere. That's a sign there's no expansion. Now, once we break the pre-market, we've decided, okay, there's some expansion, right? We've expanded a little bit outside of the pre-market range, okay? So that's an indicator that we might get movement on more participants or more players because we've finally broken a level. That's the idea. And so that's why we look for trades outside the range, is because we're hoping that there's already people deciding to move the market. However, you get fake outs and things like this, where we broke the 15-minute, but then we did that a number of times, and then we just couldn't hold below it, which is fine. But that's where it's at. So the next thing is, okay, well, what if we look for overbought, oversold the within the range, right? There hasn't been expansion yet. That hope is to say, if we're over becoming overbought or oversold within the market, within the pre-market range, once expansion has not yet been determined, but we're still becoming overbought or oversold, right? That's saying, okay, overbought, oversold. That means the market, there's no the balance. The market needs to rebalance itself by selling off a little bit. Doesn't mean it's going to sell a lot or buy a lot to rebalance, but it still has to rebalance in some capacity. And so if we're becoming not balanced inside the range, there may be more of an explosive moving towards the outside of the range. That's kind of the hope, is that's what we're looking for. But again, I don't have any real data to back that up. It's just hearsay at this point. Wow, we were all the way back down here at 6 on Monday. Yeah, like here, we became overbought at the open, and then we sold down, right? And then we became overbought on at the outside of the range, and then we just kind of chopped, and then we can't continue buying, but we became overbought inside the range right at open, and then we sold down. And then gonna look for like one other example, and then I'm out of here. Well, not out of here, I'll just be working on my other stuff. Okay, here's one. So here we actually broke the high. We didn't become overbought. Came close to it, but we didn't become overbought. Actually, we almost did. I mean, we're at 69. Almost overbought. We're right at this, and then we ended up selling, but we broke the high first, and then we ended up selling back. And then here we became oversold, but this was after a break. I'm looking for things before we break price. I don't know if I'll get that. Let me see. Yeah, see, this one happened on the outside right at open. And it did sell back into, but then there's chop. I want to see no break and a clean formation inside. And I'm not getting that. Very interesting. But if I can have a clean setup that doesn't happen all the time, because it doesn't need to happen all the time, it just needs to happen. Okay, like for example, here's one. We broke immediately and then we're oversold. And then we continue to sell, sell, sell until we finally get down here. But that's not what I'm looking for. See, the best kind of setups are the ones that don't happen every day. Mm-hmm. But here's one. We broke, created a an over, and I kept trying to buy this. Was my problem. But yeah, we broke. We Yeah, look at this. I was trying to buy this. This looks bad, but see, we broke, created an overbought, and then came back down, pumped up again, and then we just continued dropping. But there was your signal to sell. I mean, to sell right here after a break, and so that's what I'm looking for. But I want to see what happens when we become overbought and oversold before a break inside the range. And I'm not saying that happened. Here's one. But no, it didn't happen. We just chop, chop, chop. Eventually we broke and then we became overbought. And then we sold down a little bit, came back up, sold down. Here, there's one inside the range, but what happened? We already broke. So then it just becomes chop. I want a clean move. I'm just not getting it. Just not getting it. Price must have been way down here before. Okay, okay, so here's your range. And look, we broke and then we start doing this. I don't want this, right? I want a clean overbought, oversold within the range, like a new one to form within the range. And so far, it's not happening. I'm not seeing it. And I don't, is it that rare to happen? But if it's that rare, maybe it's good. I don't know. But what I do know is that it's not happening. It's just not here. You finally break, and there's your over. There's another one. And then it continued buying and it becomes choppy. But no time, except for yesterday, there is no point where we created a new overbought, oversold condition within the range. I don't. It's just, I don't see it. Okay, here's one. Here's our range. Here's our range. Okay, yeah, look. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. Yeah, it's not happening. Um, but yeah, we'll figure it out one of these days. Yeah, just think last week, this last week, well, this Wednesday we were way down here, and now we're all the way up, up here. There we go. Okay, well, that's that. I'm going to be. Oh, wait, one second, one second. I have to go back to yesterday. Oops. But on the open within the range. Actually, that was Monday. And then Tuesday is here. Created and oversold within the range. I mean, it's here because on Monday we didn't break anything. We just created an overbought. And then and then on Tuesday we didn't break anything either. We started right at the top and then we just came chopped around and then we created an oversold. I moved it. One second. There we go. Yeah. I don't know if those are higher quality setups than the other ones, but and then you see stuff like this where we're just bouncing cleanly, moving cleanly, and it's like, where was I? Sleeping, obviously. Anyways, we'll figure it out, but I have the sound up so I'll hear if anything happens. Yikes. I sat down to my computer. I was not expecting anything to happen, and yet here we are. So we're in that oversold territory. We just broke the bottom. Yeah, we just broke the bottom, and we're in oversold territory. Wait for this candle to close. There's your close. Okay, so we closed. I'm looking for an oversold condition to form. It'll form after this closes, if it is gonna form. Yeah, I literally sat down, I was in bed, I was like, okay, time to get some stuff done. And then 2 seconds later, this goes off. Okay, so according to my old strategy, you probably would have entered here. Yeah, I probably would have entered because this would have had to close. I would have entered on this and I would be getting stopped out right now. Yeah, I would have gotten stopped out. Then I would be entering right there because that would be the secondary entry. So there's your first oversold line right there. So what you want to see is you want to see a pullback after. So I want to see a pullback happen. If it breaks all the way through, it's invalidated. Looks like we're breaking all the way through. See this? That second entry would have been good. The first one, not so much. And that's what I kept getting trapped in last week, was getting the first entries were always, the first entries were always bad for some reason. All right, so there is not a pullback because we're below that oversold, so it's not a pullback yet. Okay, so I'm looking for because I'm looking for this to, okay, so now we just created a new oversold that we just smashed through again, so we're not doing anything right yet. It would have to close above this line, but it's not going to do that, so maybe not. Okay, so we're coming back above, maybe about 20 seconds left on this one. See, because I want to see that we've created an oversold and that we're actually buying up from it, and then we get a brief pullback and then we continue to buy. That's what I'm looking for, and we're not getting that. We just keep selling past each point. All right, so that one became invalidated. We're losing volume, if you notice, as we're coming down. We're losing volume. We're at 11, 9, 6, 7, blah, blah, blah. We're losing volume. So I want to see a new oversold line form here. this candle is going to close in 30 seconds. If we can close above this, we should form a new one. Maybe. Maybe. We have 15 seconds. Okay. We did not form a new one. Maybe this one will be it right here. Okay, so we're buying out of it. If we can close in 30 seconds above this, we should hold for an oversold condition. Maybe not. We had 30, so now we're coming back down again. See, this is why you don't trade every single thing you see. I think that's what John was doing, is he was trading every single one. Okay, so there you have it. So we finally formed one. So we want to see this pump up. Okay, so now that we're green over here, I want to see us form a red brick and then a green, and then you'll buy off the green one. Hopefully, I don't know exactly. I don't know how it's gonna work. Okay, so I'm coming over here because this is where I gotta place my trade. See, so once we form a red brick, then we will be looking for green. We'll be looking for green. Red. We haven't formed one yet. Okay, we just formed red. We formed a series of red, which is actually good. And then once we see green, and there's your green. Okay, so I'm in, now I'm down. I didn't set a stop loss, so I'm just gonna be watching this, and then I'll just cancel it. I'm looking for a push. I don't know up to where, that's the thing. I don't know where we're trying to push to. We just got another red one formed. We're still green. Okay. Looks like we're up 70, 50 ticks. I'm going to stop myself out at 70. So I was only in one contract, and yet we're up 776 for one contract, 76 ticks. So that was a smooth one. We were down. We did jump down. I didn't have a stop loss when I got in, but I got in at this. Where did I get in? That's why it's hard to tell. I got in at, I don't know, I saw I was up 76 ticks and I was like, I'm getting out. Where is, I don't know where I got, I think it was this, we pulled down, we started pulling up, and I got in right here. Actually, no, I can tell you exactly where I got in. 1 second, let me bring this over. Okay, so this is, oops, let me pull this up. This will tell you exactly where I got. And okay, entry at 8, so 824.4, 824.4. So yeah, I entered right 824.4. So I entered after this brick was the entry. It's still going, which is nice to see. I got out because I'm like, I don't know. I've never created this before, so I don't know what exactly to expect. But this was the entry off of this brick. Yeah, it's still going all the way back up. Beautiful. This was the entry. And we got out at 70. Yeah, we got out at 70 and we're up 100. Crazy. Um, so the reason why I only went in one contract was because I didn't really know exactly what I was kind of talking myself through it because I didn't even know what the heck I was doing here. I saw volume decreasing as we came down, and then I wasn't really paying attention to that anymore. I was paying attention to what we were doing here, how we came down, we formed this, and so I'm waiting for this to pump up, and then wait, what happened? Yeah, so we came down, and it was this one where, not even that one, it was, why did this show up here? I don't know. Yeah, I have to play back that because when I look at it, it looks different. It looks different. Anyways, it looks different. So, um, yeah, it just looks different from what I remember. Let me play this back. I'm just gonna grab my phone 1 second. I don't think I've ever seen 76 ticks on gold that quickly. Okay. Mm, all right, let's go back to 1 second. Okay, so I was doing my playback. It looks like I actually entered. It's kind of hard to see now that I don't have my thing. I entered here, so because I was looking back, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so we pumped up, remember, and we came up and we formed this, and we were significantly away from it. And at this point, I was like, okay, so now I need to, once we finally settle away and we have a clean line below, and we're not just powering right through it, then I want to see a series of red, which we got right here. So this was our green. Okay, we're above, we're holding above, good, with a clean line down here. Okay, So now I'm looking for red, and I said, okay, we have a series of red, which was this, and then I entered on green. I got in a little late, so it was probably somewhere. It was actually at 24 this, but my entry should have been here, but I got a late entry up here, and then that's when it continued to push. It's still pushing, but that was my entry. It was right there. So this is one that you could have potentially, if you got in exactly where you should have right there. You know, we're already up 200 ticks from that point. So, um, but that's what I was specifically looking for was, and that's what I was talking myself through. I didn't know exactly what to expect because I always look at this in hindsight and say, okay, well, this candle formed and this one formed. So then you're looking for a trade after this on this candle, and then that's where you got the pullback on this one. So yeah, that's your trade. It's 9:35. I'm going to, I don't even know how to screenshot this at this point. I'm going to draw some arrows. And I'm just going to kind of type out what I'm just going to kind of type out what I did, and then I don't know if because that's the thing, I don't have, now we're right back at the top of the pre-market, I mean the bottom, the pre-market, the top of the bottom. But yeah, I didn't really know how that was gonna go, hence one contract. Not because I'm scared. Normally on Top Step I'm trading like 1, 2 contracts because I'm scared, but I only traded one this time because I actually didn't know. I didn't know how this was going to go. Um, and I didn't have a stop loss. I didn't have anything. And a couple times it shot down negative 23 ticks. So I was like, what? Yeah. So again, I didn't know how that was going to go. Hence the very, um, very limited. One second, let me turn this off. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, other than that, I just gonna try to write out what I was thinking, what happened, so that we can get this into an actual strategy instead of, being in theory in my brain. So, because again, I haven't been able to trade this, because this effectively would have worked, right? So you wait for the break, which was this candle, broke, you have a pullback. Was that the break? Yeah, you have a pullback right here. Yeah, you have a pullback, you enter there, chops around a little, but it does drop. And this would have been good too. Like it wasn't bad. Um, but yeah, so I mean this was good as well. And I'm gonna say that because it was, and that's my strategy right here doing its work. But why did I say, because I remember it coming down and I remember saying I would have lost that one. I don't know why I said that because all of these actually went. Okay, this one. No, okay, so this is what it was. It came down. This candle closed because I had to wait for this to close. So I waited. Hold up. Because this candle closed at 9:19. So that means this closed right here. So this was your close. Then you have a pull back up. So I said right here, this is where I would have entered. This would have been your first entry after the close right here. This one would have been incorrect. Would have gone up probably 30 ticks. maybe close to 30 ticks, would have lost. Then you get it on the second one, then it drops. But that first entry would have been bad. Yeah, it would have. First entry would have been bad, but this was your primary break strategy. Okay, so let me just. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So let me just write out this and then this. And then, because both of them effectively worked, this one would have caused a loss and then a win. A nice win, too. I mean, once you got in the second time, and then it just goes. You know, it came down 176. And then once you get in this one, you know, this one ended up going up, or is it up? Oh, it's not 260 ticks. So, yeah, it's not. Neither of them were bad. Just this one resulted in a loss before it resulted in a win. And you don't know how far this is going to pull back up. And that's the kind of the key is you don't know if it's going to go up, down, around, and around. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna write this stuff out and then we'll go from here.
That add up. Kroger, Texas proud since 1955.
When a shopping cart smashed my headlight, we worried filing a claim would take forever.
And life would revolve around the shopping cart. But thanks to Geico's around-the-clock claim support, that never happened.
It feels good to get going again. It feels good to Geico.
So what did I say we did? So we waited for this, and this closed about here, which formed our first one. Then we waited for a pullback. Okay, I think that's correct. We got this red. Green had to form in order to validate this line. None of these lines got validated. This would form, but then this broke it. This formed, but this broke it. And then this formed right here. This held above. And then you wait for your pullback, and then entry down. One other thing to note, CBD decreasing all these stuff. Dropping from like 14,000 to 4. Yeah, I think maybe that's important to note as well. So here's what I have. So, second. So yeah. So first entry, most likely would have resulted in a loss. Most likely, otherwise it could have been held, and then there wouldn't have been a loss. But we second entry ran beautifully based off pullback. First break, I should say break of PM low. Okay, first break of PM low. Okay, CBD dropping from the 14,000s to the 4,000s, utterly become oversold. CBD continues to drop. Then we start getting an increase as we buy back out of it. So then I said here, entry based off RSI, waited for first green candle to close, and RSI line to form, waited for a pullback, and then enter off first. Honestly, this just has to form a line and it has to hold, because a line formed, right? So it forms after. So right here is your oversold, right? This is where the line should form, but then it waits to see if the next candle will actually close within this and not close below. If it closes within right here, then it forms a line here. So it forms on this candle. So once this line forms on this candle, you want the next candle to hold above. And that's what this did not do. Same right here. We're oversold here. So then it waits for this to form within this. It can't break it immediately. It has to form in here. And it did. So when we got our first line, but then the next candle immediately broke it and it closed below it. And then and so that's why we didn't get a signal. But then here we got this one over, and this is what happened here, right? This could have been an oversold, right? It could have been, but then this candle immediately broke it. And so that's why you didn't get an oversold line here. And then this is our new low, right? It's forming at each low. So this should have been a form, but it didn't because this candle broke it. So basically at any point where we're oversold, the next candle cannot break the low of where we became oversold. So here we were oversold, but this candle broke that. Then we were still oversold, but this candle didn't break it. Hence, line forms. But then this candle broke that. So we have no entry. This is our new low. New candle does not break the low. So we have a new oversold zone, but then the next candle broke it. Then we have our new low. The next candle broke that low, so this becomes the low. Next candle holds above the low, so now we have a line formed. The next candle has to close, right? Has to close above the has to close above this. It can't come all the way back down. This one closed above. It closed right here. So that's good. It's good. So again up here, boom, 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 and this candle. So this candle came all the way up. So now we have our pullback, 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 and at this point our candle closed like right here. So now, yeah, our candle closed like right there. So now we're still in a pullback, and then we get our first buy back up. So that was your buy back up. So hopefully I said that properly. So one candle determines the low. Next candle can't break the low. The next candle also can't break the low. That's when you start looking for a pullback. I don't know. It's not confusing. It's just a lot of stuff to remember. Okay. Anyways, I just need this. I don't need all of that. Okay. So then we have that. We have our pre-market range in here. We have our notes. Okay, so let's screenshot, download. Okay, there we go. Now let's just move this over here. Oops. So. Yeah, sorry. Okay, there you have it. Because I remember trading RSI before, and you get all chopped up in this. Be like, okay, we're gonna buy. Oh, we're gonna buy. Oh, we're gonna, and then it finally does. But you got chopped up a ton of times before it actually bought. Here's an example. Here at 1 in the morning. And again, I'm not trading at 1 in the morning, but none of these actually went, so I want to see what this looks like. So the first one, we have our new low. We're oversold, so we have our new low. This one closes above, doesn't create a new low, so we have our first line. The second one comes back and just taps that line, and then we don't get any sort of a pullback. It keeps dropping. We have a new low. This one closed above, so there's your first there's your first green, and then it continues to be green, 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 green. You're looking for a pullback, and this is your first sell off, but it never actually pulled back to continue buying. it just kept selling, 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 broke this again. So now we have a new low right here. We're green. So we're holding, let me look at this right here. So we came down, we bought back up. So this is your, right there. So this is your new low. This one closes. And then you have to wait for this one to close. And it closed here. But then it broke this again. So now we created a new low. We bought back up. We wait for this green to close, which it does. And then you want to wait for this one to close, which it closes right here. And then you want to pull back, which never happens. So there's no trades happening at this point. Here's one. Okay, so then we created a low right here. What is that time? Okay, so we create a low. And then we buy back up. So now we've created a successful whatever. Okay, buy back up. So this is your first candle. So we wait for this one to close, which is right here. So you wait for green to close. And then you want to pull back, which happens. But then we break it again. So there's no entry. Then we have our new low. This candle closes above, which is good. This candle also has to close above, which it does. Oops, which it does. Right there. So now you're looking for a pullback, which is right here. There's your pullback. So this would be your entry, which obviously you got 0 ticks, and it just continued to drop back into, again, pulled up, just chopping, 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 and then finally, so you got saved from multiple losses, but then you got one there, and it keeps going, so it doesn't finally go until here. You have your low, fall back up, hold, then you sell back down, closed above. This is your entry right there. That's the one that finally goes, right? It's the entry that finally goes is that one. But the rest of them, like this one, wait for this to close, wait for this one to close, but then you don't get any entry. I think this one would have been the only one where there was a loss right here. Because we have a low here. And wait for this candle to close, which should close up there. And then you have a brief pullback. A single big, and then it just continued dropping. Okay, I'm gonna go turn off all of my alerts now. Yeah, see how we're still we bought all the way back, trapped around here for a minute, and then we bought back into the 15-minute. Exactly. Just keeps going. Crazy, you know, your entry was here somewhere, and it's up 300 ticks from where the entry was supposed to be. I mean, with one contract, that passes the account if you're on Apex. But yeah, that's crazy. It's nice to see. Okay, I mean, I guess I'm staring at it still because, you know, the move was caught. I didn't catch much of the move, but it was still caught, and I don't know. It's weird to have caught something. Okay, so that's your commissions. Aren't there supposed to be commissions on here? There are. Okay, yeah, fees, not commissions, fees. Okay. Anyways, that's all for me today. I need to go finish a bunch of stuff. I need to take Pup for a walk because we were only outside briefly. It's raining. Yeah, it's like a rainstorm going on. It's supposed to snow later, so that'll be fun. Not really. Not really. Okay. But yes, I will be back and I will see you, I guess, in tomorrow. When is tomorrow? Thursday. Yeah, whenever the week's short, I get confused at what day it is. But I'll be back tomorrow.